Great.
That's over there.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody, thank you so much for coming this evening. My name is Valerie Ingram. I am the vice chair of the bond oversight committee, and I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:22. Some of us were all here earlier for a walkthrough as well. So we're going to get started. I think everybody knows everybody, so I'm going to skip the introductions, and I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the December 4th, 2024 meeting.
Okay.
I second it.
All in favor?
Thanks.
Aye. There you go. And now I'll turn it over to Eileen to get started on the review.
Right. David. And again. All right, so just a quick overview. We start every meeting, which is a reminder of the program, the committee goals, just to ensure that we're meeting the bond promise, we're meeting it on time, on budget, and then to ultimately report back to the board on how we are doing and making sure that we are meeting our promises to our community. And so that is the start. The next one is just looking at our bond promise, and this is page 2 of the budget of the report you have in front of you, or page 1, sorry. And then it really just lays out in summary form what the bond promise is. This is the first 2 columns is what was sent to the community. It was what was in the bond measure. And it's just to make sure that we are checking off those things that are major commitments to our community. The first column is what's been completed. The next one, what is in progress and planning. And then the final one, what is coming up or still to work through. And our goal is to move everything over to the left. And we are off to a really good start 2 years in. So it's by this time next year, most of it will be over in the left column and very few probably in the middle column. We'll be down to deferred maintenance, HVAC, some of the smaller things that might take us a couple of years after that, but the major stuff should be done in the next 1.5 years. 2 years?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is just to kind of give us a quick summary, a quick view. The next page is our financial report, and this is the quarterly financial report. It's given, it just updated every month. But as of right now, we have a total of $143 million in resources, $121 million in our bond. Then we have our premium, our awesome grant, and then $3.5 million in interest and rebates so far. We have,
Read that bottom part.
$3.5 million in
Another
interest.
increase of 9.7 million since the December deal.
That is for expenditures. So we have $102 million expended or committed to expend. So we have contracted, we have our open POs, we're ready to go, schedules are in process for upcoming, or it's things we've already finished. So that is what we're off and rolling on, and we've got formal quotes for, and we're moving forward on. So 102 million, that is what is up 9.7 million since we met in December. So that just kind of shows, even though we haven't gotten a lot done, there is a lot being done behind the scenes. I'm just preparing for this next upcoming summer. You can see we have $52 million encumbered right now. A lot of that is Cornelius Elementary. So as this project starts to close out, that number will start to get smaller, but then we'll also start building it back up with all of our summer 25 projects. $41 million uncommitted right now. The biggest thing is at the bottom of your report, there's a box that 95, almost 96%. Our bond requirements is that within 3 years, we spend so much of the bond from the sale of the bond, the date of the sale of the bond. And so that is how much we have committed or expended of the first $90 million bond. Based on that, by August, we will be out of our total resources for our first sale. And so we are on schedule and planning on the second bond sale in June. So we'll start the process of credit rating and going through all of that. We've already kicked off that, but we should have that sale in June and know what our next bond premium or interest is going to be based on that one. So that's exciting. Okay. Budget changes is the next page, and there is no changes. This page hasn't changed since our December that we talked about, but I do want to highlight several things that we are actively looking at that will be budget changes in the upcoming months. And so I just didn't want them to be a surprise. The first one is Neil Armstrong. We are gonna be shifting NAM's building deferred maintenance seismic budget over to NAM's fields to support the lighting. And the replacement of the gym floor. Then we are most likely gonna end up shifting some of our contingency to playgrounds. It's $500,000. Right now, we're sitting on $7.9 million in contingency. So, we'll probably shift a little bit over to playgrounds to support the tile surfaces and some, stormwater retention that we'll have to do for it. The next one is Dilly. Dilly, in looking at the total budget on this, Dilly has right now 298,000 left in their budget, but their playground was not on the bond commitment to begin with, and so we're gonna shift that over to the playground budgets, and that's what's gonna support the Dilly playground replacement. And then the next one is Forest Grove High School CTE to Forest Grove High School deferred maintenance. That's closing out the high school CTE program. We're done with that, and so any remaining funds will move over to the high school's deferred maintenance budget to be able to support those projects. And then the last one is pre-K. Currently, we have all of our pre-K funds in one bucket. But at Echo Shaw and Harvey Clark, we're consolidating that with the seismic and the deferred maintenance. We have general contractor on place doing that. And so we're going to embed the pre-K portion of those two buildings into their consolidated projects. So we'll be moving those pre-K budgets into the consolidated budgets for them. So just different way of procuring those versus individually just having somebody do the pre-K. So we're just going to consolidate it to help save resources. Any questions on the budget adjustments that are coming? Bond schedule.
Yeah, so bond schedule just quickly, because we'll cover it a little bit in each school that we talk about, but the third large column over, you'll see kind of a magenta line going down. That's where we're at now. So if you track that down in 2025, you can see Cornelius, we're obviously mid-construction. For Neil Armstrong athletics, we are planning gym field lights project. So you can see that's coming up. And Neil Armstrong still kind of middle of that. Those improvements planning, I think we're about 30% complete on our seismic work there. So planning more work there for next summer. Echo Shaw, we are in kind of pre-construction. We did bid that, and that went to inline construction. So we are planning that work for this summer. Harvey Clark, we are also prepping for, that's a 2 summer project because there's so much work we have to do there. We're pretty much in every classroom and in the gym doing major seismic upgrades there and doing a pre-K addition. I didn't mention it, but Echo Shaw, we're doing a renovation to some existing classrooms to prepare them for pre-K. Playgrounds kind of continue. We are got a couple more coming up in the summer at Dilly and Harvey Clark. And Echo Shaw. No, that's it.
Yes, Echo Shaw, Dilly, Harvey Clark,
And and then just we've created a new section on its own just to cover other schools that we are doing the pre-K work at as well. So at Dilly, we're back there again this summer, starting a 1 classroom pre-K expansion off the back of the school. At Fern Hill, we have a 4 classroom addition, including a new pre-K classroom. So we're designing that now and actually going to be interviewing soon to see contractors on Friday for that one. And at Joe Gale, that's some just interior renovation to existing classrooms. Prep that for pre-K. Safety security projects continue. Access control projects planning for this summer at mostly at the schools. We're also doing construction now for the most part. And same thing with fire alarms, cell and gas and mainly complete. Those projects upgrading, we upgrade the high school with gas for emergency communications, and then cell just so on the major carriers you could actually get cell coverage in the buildings because most all buildings didn't have that. So it's a security, safety improvement. Technology, Enrique and Emil put out an RFP, selected a contractor, Hecky, for its Portland Electric. And they're gonna be going around all the classrooms and upgrading the teaching stuff for technology, and then maintenance projects continue. Continue, and they will for a while, like that said. That's kind of the schedules at a glance. Next item, we get into project specific reports. Cornelius, you obviously got an even more current. Look at that one now.
That was just last week.
Yeah, top left, now we have mechanical units and curves, they weren't there. The brick in the lower center picture is all the way up now at the top. So yeah, I mean, it's even for us, we come back a week later and the admin wasn't framed last week, so it's pretty awesome. And like we said, I don't know if we mentioned it here, but I guess it's the last thing. We're planning our furniture purchase, which is a big purchase, so we met today for several hours to go through that. And yeah, so Neil Armstrong Athletics, covered that. Main thing there is just planning the field nights. And that will be a land use process. It goes to the city, so we will let people know that, so you can attend the hearing if you'd like to support that. The Armstrong improvements. I think mainly what we have left is continuing around the building and doing our seismic upgrades and connections that we're doing around the building. And looking at some restroom upgrades that we're designing, the options there. And Wayfind is another big one to improve. It's, as you know, it's a confusing maze in there. So I've seen some early options, and it's going to really help with colors and different signage and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be a big change. At Philly, so those shots are of the latest Wayne Scott improvements that we did with Pushing Break.
That's pretty colorful.
Yeah, very colorful. It turned out really good.
Yeah.
The curved one up the top is kind of we got that idea from Harvey Clark, where when you go from the old school down to the cafeteria, they have that same sort of thing where the kids can sort of
We were
textural.
in high school listening sessions for Cornelius 2 years ago now. And several of the high school kids had mentioned that they went to Harvey Clark, and that's one thing they remember is walking down that hallway and running their hands down that. So it was something we thought we could keep incorporating into some of the buildings, is just that texture.
Yeah, and I think we're still planning something like that for Cornelius. There's still a few things in the works related to murals and arts and stuff like that, and some sort of texture walls in the discussions as well. And then the lower right picture, if you continue down that hallway and to the right, that's where our pre-K edition will be. So that is going to be one classroom edition. There'll be a little new vestibule and entry that comes into the school there. And as a result of that, we will relocate the garden. We've got Cornelius as kind of our standard. The garden we're doing here, which is like 8 or 10 garden boxes and water and fenced area. So we're just going to continue that.
And the other difference at Dilly versus some of the other schools for pre-K is the classroom that we're adding in the back is actually going to be a music classroom. And then we're going to renovate one of the classrooms to the old music classroom that's up closer to the office and closer to the front. And the old music closet is now going to be like the restrooms and stuff. So that classroom will have a full renovation to make it a pre-K space. But then now the music room will have an actual music space there. So we're just going to kind of swap the space.
So the musical instruments, they're in
That closet,
yeah, what are you gonna do with those?
there's going to be space built into the new classroom.
Because they came
support
from
that.
Gales Creek. The
Yeah.
Parents group bought a lot of those instruments, yeah. Okay.
So we have plans for like some cabinets with closed doors and stuff in the
Good.
new music room, so
That's
that,
a nice space. The bathroom's kitty corner.
yeah.
Good.
That those are a couple pictures of the completed CTE edition at Forest Grove High School. I think it turned out awesome. The lower or the right photo in the background, you can see the kind of outdoor little play area. There's a kidney bean shaped turf area and sort of a tricycle track around there.
So, yeah, that's a good idea.
And yeah, it just the contractor Ross Builders did a really great job, and I think we're just working with the high school to get the program going, right? So I think next fall probably.
The plan is to have it in August open house.
I like the ceiling. The ceiling.
Yeah, that's just exposed the deck,
Uh-huh.
you know, and we worked really hard. Kind of, there were screws up there that we cut off, and we just, you know, put a lot of time and discussion into that to make sure it looks great. It does.
It
It
Yeah.
really
So,
looks nice, yeah.
And those little there's little toilets up to the left of the photo to the right,
Mhm.
you know, the little 12-inch toilets in there. So even if we gotta check those in, they're super cute. So deferred maintenance that we're working on at the high school from next summer, the shaded areas to the right are just some flooring that we're gonna remove and leave polished concrete. We are at a number of restrooms throughout the building and just replacing and upgrading the bathroom partitions. And one of the kind of bigger changes for the kids will be changing just gang shower areas to like individual showers and changing you know, stalls. So that would be a nice big change. But I think I'm talking to the staff, it doesn't get used.
I was gonna say,
They don't
at least
use-
the space right now. doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think they'll get used a lot. We do that.
So this budget variance, is that what's left over?
Which,
On the CTE?
that's what the balance is as of today.
Yeah, but
We're
you're
still closing it out, and then that's what I'll put into the deferred maintenance high school budget, as soon as it's fully closed.
So back to Shaw, you're seeing some renderings of siding is gonna be replaced all the way around the building and the majority of the windows. I think some of them are newer, but a lot of them are older. Yeah, cafeterias are not be replaced, but the rest of them will be. But the siding is just gonna be a totally different look. The architect added some color and flair to the entry there, so it'll be a big upgrade for the school.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, a little bit of seismic, and like you said, like pre-K readiness for a couple of months. Harvey Clark, we have, I think we've talked about the seismic scope quite a bit in the classrooms and the gym, major seismic work. And then what you're seeing there though is the pre-K addition coming off the backside of the library area. It won't necessarily be that color, but at least you're getting a sense of the building addition. And there's a modular there that will move back about 30 feet or so, or 50 feet. And so that's moving along, and it's a two-phase project, like I said. So this summer there'll be a lot of work done in the classrooms, and we will break ground on that addition.
Most of our additions for Dilly, Harvey Clark, and Fern Hill will start this summer, but they will go through school next year. So we'll have safety plans in place, but we will have construction at the same time as school is in session for those additions.
And that's what we did, the CT high school, and you know, I know at Fern Hill we'll have to build because the exit out of the school goes right through where we're building the addition. So we'll work with the fire marshal and make sure we have a emergency exit path. So the contractors will look at this on that. Playground.
Hills Creek and Dilly are done, and then we are working on finalizing the scope and schedule for the other. Not really an update for them.
There's the Dilly pre-K edition, which is kind of a look, you know, really carries on the similar look. some of the materials, because we resided the building last summer with party plank and repaired. It wasn't like ton of, but the nice thing here is we were able to repair a lot of, things before we resided it. The roof got redone, so I mean, all the way around this building's in good shape. And so I think we've actually added some more windows than what we show here too, but
Yes.
so like Eileen said, this will end up being our musical. Fern Hill, so the addition is off the east side of the building there. It'll be a 2-story addition with pre-K being on the main floor, and it's one other standard classroom on the main floor with 2 standard classrooms sitting on the second floor. We will end up kind of rebuilding pre-K playground and reading the garden according to the standard. So right now we're kind of looking at kind of how that's all going to work with fencing and access to the playgrounds and things like that. So and I didn't even tell you this yet, but we had our kickoff meeting with the city. I think it went great. They said we don't have to have any parking. We're gonna work with them on, do some water quality work, but it's city of Forest Grove, which they've been very good with, so it makes it a little bit easier. Dilly's Washington County, a little bit more of a challenge, but we'll get through it. It's just the city of Forest Grove has been very good.
Are these just one pre-kinder in each school?
Cornelius will have 2, Echo Shaw will have 2, and then 1 in the remainder.
Okay.
So that's at least what we're building capacity and structure. Technology, I meant to add a couple of pictures to the screen. You have a blank screen, I'm sorry. They're really, you
Tech-
talked about the
Yeah.
classroom infrastructure, that's the only thing.
That's the main thing is, we hired Portland Electric to be our electrical company to go throughout the district and do the teaching audit periods. And Enrique procured like 250 digital whiteboards, the Epson boards, so it's kind of developing that standard and installing it throughout the district. I think the main thing.
Yeah, the kids got NAMs doing classrooms in the evenings right now.
And we did meet with Enrique and like planning, outfitting according to this is a big purchase, all computers and the servers and racks and all that stuff. So that's a good.
So for the rest of the pages, we don't really have much change since December, so I wasn't planning on going through every page individually. But if you guys have any questions on how we're doing with HVAC or any of our different maintenance or other buildings, we're open to talk about those.
Have we talked about scoreboards?
For the alarm phone, it is on the wish list.
But also, thanks for the time.
Is Ideal Street, the wish list for the, the walking path?
The walking path is on the wish list, yes it is.
Okay. On page 15, what is ADA buttons? I don't know what that is.
Just the push buttons for the doors to
Oh,
automatically
okay.
open.
Okay.
Are bleachers on the wish list for the turf at?
They're on the wish list.
People need a place to sit. Yeah, it's really standing by.
Those are on the needs list.
And especially because the other schools have them, and then they come to our school, and they don't have chairs, so I don't know if we can put on the schedule, bring your own chairs.
I know, another spot.
Then it's
Then
not,
where do
you
you
can't see. And the bleachers are stadium, elevated, standing.
Yeah. You just go with this conversation.
This looks amazing. It's not a need.
We have those on our, we've been generating a list over time, and as we can fit things in, we've actually ticked up a lot of the things
For sure.
on there as we've been in places, but I think we're just trying to wait a few more months, get more stuff prepared to see really where we're at.
Maybe look at the gym walls and think about painting those.
That is most likely getting done this summer. We're gonna do the floor.
Great, I like
you
the
know,
walls.
yeah,
It's like you're gonna have a whole new gym and then it's gonna be
Yeah.
like.
we're doing the floor, we're gonna paint the walls, so that's on the wish list, but it's getting
Closer to
folded
the
in
top.
there. It's folding in there.
What building is that?
Feeler.
Neil Armstrong.
Cause they have like, I mean, the bleachers look good, they're gonna replace the floor, they replace the curtain,
Mhm.
so they have all this new stuff and then we solve like,
Like they always were.
they're the same.
It's like,
Good.
Any other questions on open projects? And then I think our last comment is just, this will be our busiest, craziest summer we've got in the whole bubble. Everything that we've been kicking off over the last couple of years will be wrapping up and all of the new stuff is gonna be starting. So these are just a lot of the major things that we've got going, that will be active construction this coming summer. So these are larger projects. And then within that, we have, well, the continued HVAC and everything. So, it's definitely gonna be a fun summer. I know Cornerstone's, added one more body to help support us through this summer.
At least.
yeah.
We've been to this.
Yeah, but we're excited. We're really excited.
Right?
Any other questions for anybody? No?
I do have one more slide, sorry. Sorry. Okay, one more. This one. June board presentation. We had 2 meetings in June. Who wants to do it? Okay, which one of those meetings?
Are you
can I
for real?
look in?
Yeah, no, I mean, that was an emergency.
June 10th or June 24th?
If I'm not wrong. Oh, yeah,
June 10th?
yeah. We can go to Vegas on the 24th.
Good check.
Yeah, I think Hillbrook is out like the 21st.
And then the
Yeah.
next meeting we have, we'll set the following year's schedule, so I'll bring a couple of options, and then you guys can look at those. And then if, our next meeting will be at Dilly Elementary School on May
When is
28th. And then David, can you go back one slide? Sorry. Okay, and then I do want to just close up with asking for feedback. How are we doing? What information do you guys need next time? Is there something, you guys hearing anything? Are we meeting our bond comments so far? You know, how's your guys'?
I feel like you're meeting on promise. Going above that, so appreciate that.
I'm impressed.
I mean, that's what I think is that the community, like, if they looked at through these things, or watched a meeting, or just drove around town, I feel like they could say like, yeah, this is money well spent, like our tax dollars are well spent, we're utilizing them, we're not wasting them, we're being frugal and doing the best for our kids, I think.
We're
I'm
on,
biased.
yeah, we're on budget too, which is amazing. On budget and on schedule, that's for construction, and the weather hasn't been perfect.
To that point, we have put out like the through the News Times, we put out a tabloid to all of our community showing what we've done, and we can plan to do that again, maybe ahead of summer. We did that last year. We've kind of done every 6 months. We've done that. We've done that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think it's good for people, to see just so they're, you know.
Just
not
keeping it there.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
wasting your money.
Yeah.
Put that one out to everyone.
Different picture in a few months. Right.
Yeah. Very much so.
Well,
Okay.
that's great.
How about you guys for any feedback or?
I think it's going great. I mean, it seems like there's always something going on. Just a lot of. And the answer is, well, I know. it's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Days that it's really
I didn't see you.
progress.
Well, and like, I mean, I'd be happy to, you'd be happy to take down a tour every time. So just let us know.
Yeah, is there any like, you guys normally do tours?
Oh, so
or
what's
just-
my Spanish and then the
Yeah.
English? Oh, that's cool.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
But we are.
Yeah, it's Spanish and Okay.
Great.
Even better.
Yeah, yeah,
I liked it. They were super sorry.
Redeemed myself.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well.
It's good.
after three
I like it.
comments in. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, just send me an email and I can, we can get that set up. Okay. Okay.
Now?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn the meeting at 6:52 PM. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and we will see you next.